The fourth planet on the Little Prince's travel belonged to a businessman. This man was so wrapped up in his work that he did not so much as look up when the little prince arrived. "Good morning," the little prince said. "Did you know your cigarette is out? 3 and 2 makes 5. 5 and 7 makes 12. 12 and 3 makes 15. Good morning. 15 and 7 makes 22. 22 and 6, that's 28. No time to light it again. 26 and 5 equals 31. Wow, that makes 501,622,731. 500 million what? The little prince asked. What? You still there? 501 million. I forget. I have so much work on. This is work of the greatest importance. I don't have time for chit-chat. 2 and 5 equals 7. 501 million of what? The little prince repeated. Who never in his life gave up once he had asked a question. The businessman looked up. It's been 54 years that I've lived here on this planet, he began, and I've only been disturbed 3 times. The first time was 22 years ago by a May bug that came from goodness only knows where. He kept making the most dreadful noise. As a result of each, I made 4 mistakes in my calculations. The second time, 11 years ago now, it was an attack of rheumatism that interrupted my work. I don't do enough exercise. That's my trouble. But I don't have time to go messing about. I have work to get on with, work of greatest importance, and the third time is now. You? Now where was I? Oh yes, I was up to 501 million. 501 million what? Asked the prince. The businessman understood by now that there would be no hope of peace and quiet until he answered the question. Millions of these little things you can sometimes see up in the sky. You mean flies? No, little shiny things, bees? No, little golden things that make lazy people daydream. But I have to work together with, work of the greatest importance. I don't have time of daydreaming. Oh, I know, said the little prince. You mean stars. That's it, stars. And what do you do with all of these 500 million stars? 501,622,731? My work is of the greatest importance. I have to be precise. And what do you do with the stars? What do you do with them? Yes, nothing. I just want them. You want the stars? You want the stars? Yes. But I've just met with the king of one of the stars. Who? Kings want nothing. They rule, and that's a very different. But what good does it do to you? But what good does it do you to own the stars? It makes me rich. But what's the good of being rich? It means I can buy other stars. Should anyone discover them? The little prince was thinking. This made his reasoning quite like the drunk on the other pad. And on he went with his questions. How exactly can anyone own stars? So how do you imagine they belong to anyway? The businessman retorted, rather grumpily. I don't know. To no one, probably. Exactly, so they belong to me, because I was the first to think of it. And that's good enough reason, is it? Of course it is. If you find a diamond that belongs to no one, then it's yours. If you discover the island that belongs to no one, then it's yours. When you are the first to invent an idea, you patent it, don't you? It's yours. I own the stars for the simple reason that no one before me ever dreamed of wanting them. Understand? All right, said the little prince. But if you own them, what can you do with them? I manage them, replied the businessman. I count them, then I count them again. It's difficult work, but it is work of the greatest importance. The little prince was still not satisfied. Listen, he said, say you own a silk scarf. I can wrap it around my neck, can I? And say I own a flower. I can pick it and take it with me, can I? You can pick up star and take it with you, can you? You can't pick up star and take it with you, can you? No, but you can put it in a bank, replied businessman. How do you mean? It means that I can write down on a little piece of paper the number of stars of one, and then put the piece of paper away in a jar and lock it up. That's it. That's all that's needed. The little prince was thinking. That may be quite an amusing idea, even poetic, but it doesn't make much sense. He clearly had rather different ideas from these grown-up folk about what made sense and what did not, about what was important and what was not. I myself happened to want a flower. The little prince went on to tell him that I water once a day. I want 3 volcanoes that I rake out once a week. I even rake out the one that is extinct because you never know. I don't just want my volcanoes and my flower. I am useful to them. You may own your stars, but you don't do nothing for them. The businessman opened his mouth, but he could say nothing in reply. The little prince decided this was a good moment to leave us on his travels again. The little prince kept on thinking. Grown-ups are really quite extraordinary.